All right, just taking a quick look at this new BlendJet 2. So this one's got all the upgrades, all the improvements that are really going to make this thing work and work good. Because at the end of the day, you know, having a small portable blender, there's no point in having one if it doesn't work good, if it doesn't blend up the food well. In fact, they're claiming this thing has big blender performance. Even though it's very small, compact, lightweight, you can throw it in your backpack. And there's another benefit here too. You know, we're going to talk about all this stuff in this video. But yeah, they say it has this patented turbojet technology, and it's quiet enough for a library. And, you know, so let's talk about the power aspect of this thing first. Then we'll kind of get into this, you know, how it works with this. They say it has this like patented offset blade design. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But let's just talk about the power aspect of it real quick. Because you might be wondering, you know, like this thing, you know, you charge it up USB-C. And it charges at like 6 watts or something like that, right? So, and it only takes an hour to charge. And then they do say like you can get up to 15 blends on a full charge. So this is a lot of, you can make a lot of smoothies, you can make a lot of stuff in this blender without using much power. And, you know, this is kind of, you might say, well, how is that possible? Or how does it really give, you know, how are you really going to have big blender performance with, you know, a small amount of power? Well, guess what? You know, it's got its own internal battery, so it's running off of DC power. This is the key thing. DC power is so much better. You get so much more power, you know, on a watt per watt basis than you do with AC power, which is what comes out of your wall at your house. You know, and it's more efficient, yeah, more powerful on a, you know, for a given number of watts. So, and you might say, well, if that's true, you know, why on earth do our houses run off AC if DC is so great? Well, it has to do with basically providing the power to your house, because the power station is probably like 5, 10, maybe 15 miles from your house, right? So that's why AC was invented. It's just better to transmit over long distances. But the thing is, as more and more people are starting to get like solar panels on their house, you know, solar is DC power. And if you have like a battery backup system at your house, that's DC power too. So yeah, I think as more and more people get stuff like that, renewable energy kind of located at their own house, like you transform your own house into a power source, we're going to start seeing the popularity of more DC powered appliances. I think we're going to start to see that increase. You know, and of course, you know, this too, it's a portable version, yes. And guess what? You can use this with a portable power station, in fact, right? Something like a little Goal Zero Yeti. You know, it's a small little battery backup system, basically. Yes, it has an inverter, AC inverter on it. But you don't really want to be using that. As I talked about, DC is just better. You could charge the BlendJet up like probably 100 times with a little battery backup power station like that. And then, or you know, and you can just charge that back up with solar in no time, you know, with a little solar panel. So yeah, DC power is the future. DC power is the way to go. A lot of big blenders, household big blenders, they're like 1,500 watts. You know, like that's a ton of power. That's kind of the worst part of, that's probably the worst part of a typical household blender, isn't it? It's how loud, ridiculously loud it is. This thing is quiet. So yeah, you're not going to like dread, you're not going to dread turning it on. Now let's talk about, you know, you're probably wondering about this offset blade design. How does this, you know, how does it actually make it blend the food better? Well, let's step out of here and go to the drawing board real quick. So what they're talking about here is that basically if you look at this thing straight down, you know, if you take the top off of this thing and look straight into it, the blade is actually like this. It's not, you know, it's not in the center. So the reason they've done this is because you're going to create a bunch of turbulence in a bunch of just it's not going to be just this predictable blend. Think about it. In a regular blender, you either have it straight up like this, or on a lot of the older blenders, especially the household blenders, for whatever reason, they had it like this, right? The shape of the container. So if you have the blades down here, and they spin, obviously, you know, it's going to push the food up against the side of the wall. And guess what? All the biggest chunks and pieces, you know, everything that you want to get to get liquefied, basically, it kind of hangs around at the top there, because you got this upward force from the blending blades, right? That's pushing it up, but then at the same time you've got gravity pushing it down, and basically they just counter each other. And so the chunks end up just staying at the top there. So you need to create some kind of variance, some kind of disturbance in the container here to really get it to mix it up. You know, otherwise, you know, like I said, it's just all the chunks are gonna stay in one spot, basically at the top. And you can do the pulse effect, sure, you can do the pulse effect. That's, you know, when the pulse stops, it'll allow those big chunks to drop back down to the blade. And then, you know, you turn the pulse on and it'll start to chop them up. So that's why the pulse effect is always effective, like kind of no matter what the design of the blender is. So, and by the way, this is kind of the magic of, I don't know if you guys remember this, the original NutriBullet. This was the first blender that had a container shaped like this. They had a patent on this too, by the way, of course. It was shaped like this. See, this is starting to lag a bit here, but you get the idea. Here's the blade. It was shaped like this, so like the opposite of most blenders. So what happens is that blending action, that spinning action from the blade pushes the food up against the wall, yes, but then look what happens. It falls back down. It falls back down into the center because of the shape. Back down into the blade. So that's how that original NutriBullet worked so well. But with this BlendJet, they've kind of done something that we haven't seen before. Again, well, let's draw it out for you one more time real quick. If you look at it top down, yeah, the blade is like this, offset. So you're going to create a whole bunch of weird, very weird turbulent flows that you don't know who knows what would happen, but that's actually a good thing in here because it's going to mix it all up. So this is one aspect of it. This is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is, guess what? Because this is a lightweight, portable blender, think about it. You can actually shake this thing. You can just lift it up. It's so light. You can just lift it up off the table and give it a little bit of a shake while it's running. And that will just further, you know, this is the whole idea. You want the inside of the ingredients in here to mix around, to spin around, to go up, go down, go here, go there. Again, as I talked about, in a traditional blender, they would just, all the chunks would just stay at the top. So, you know, that's if you were still having trouble with it blending everything perfectly. You know, in theory, this offset blade design, you shouldn't need to do that, but, you know, again, it's just another thing that you can do. You can try. And of course, this does have, let's talk about the different modes it has, because this thing does have a blend mode as well. Or, excuse me, of course, yeah, a pulse mode is what I meant to say. So, you know, basically with the regular mode, if you press the button, if you press this button once, it'll just run it for 20 seconds continuous. But yeah, if you really want to get, you know, get all those little chunks, you might still need to do this pulse mode. So you press that button, you do a double press on it real quick. So boom, boom. You do a double press on it, and that enters the pulse mode, and then you can just press and hold, and it'll run as long as you're holding it. Lift off, press and hold. Now, of course, too, you know, they say that this is self-cleaning. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of true of really any blender. Technically, you could fill it up with soapy water and run it. The thing that makes this design so awesome is, guess what? Because it's so lightweight and portable and waterproof. This is the big thing. Yeah, right here. Actually, let's highlight it. Water, well, okay, not waterproof, water resistant. So you don't got to worry about the water getting in the USB port, basically. So what this means is, guess what? The combination of it being water resistant and the fact that you can just take the top off here, you can actually leave the base or the container, you can leave this attached while you're cleaning this thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's what really makes this thing easy to clean, because all you got to do is take the lid off, put some soapy water in it, and run it. Now, you can actually remove the container from the base if you really want to do a deep clean and put the thing in your dishwasher. You can do that. So, like, maybe every once in a while. In here, yeah, they do give you this USB-C cord. Some people have complained that this is a pretty crappy, cheap cord. So it's just USB-C. That's all you need, you know. So you probably have USB-C cords. You might want to use one of those. Now this is interesting. 25 crush-worthy colors. So I was kind of looking through. Yeah, actually, we'll look through some of the colors here on Amazon. It kind of looks like they're not all available on Amazon, I guess. I don't know. I'm really digging this orange. This is like a mango or papaya orange. I think that's the one I'd want to go for, but I don't see it here on Amazon. And here, yeah, in fact, they say this is like a kaleidoscope of colors, which is awesome. You know, this is awesome that you can kind of choose. But like I said, a lot of these colors kind of on this end, I don't know, I don't really see them on Amazon. So let's go up and just take a look and see what is available. Now this one that I've kind of chosen to kind of do this review on, I've kind of chosen the Galaxy Metallic. This one really popped and caught my eye. So it's like a purple, but it's got some metallic flake in it. So it's going to have, you can see here, it's going to have, well, yeah, it's going to have this like sheen to it. Really awesome, really an awesome color. I mean, obviously not for me, but yeah, I mean, some of you ladies out there, that's probably the one I'd kind of recommend going with. You want to ask my opinion, like, what don't you want to go with? Don't go with the black. Why would you go with just this ugly, depressing black when there's so many options here? I mean, look at this. Look at all these options. Like, you can pretty much get anything you want here. But again, those kind of oranges, the oranges and reds, what is this, wood? Where are these colors at? Is it on their website? Are they not selling them on Amazon? And actually, looking at this, the white one actually looks pretty good as well. You know, very clean, crisp, modern. That might be an underrated color. You might want to consider the white one as well. So yeah, hopefully this was just kind of, I don't know, this might have been too much, really, for what should have been just a quick review of a little portable blender. But if you did, you know, if you're still watching this and you found it helpful, don't forget to give the video a like, you know, because otherwise, think about it. Most people, they're probably going to start watching this video, and then after like 10 or 20 seconds, they're probably going to turn it off. And if that happens and then nobody gives it a like, you know, YouTube is going to like bury it. You'll never see it again.